Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dak Prescott putting body on the line for Cowboys offense. There was a big bandage on his left elbow and a few visible welts on either arm. As he spoke, Dak Prescott held firmly to the lectern, searching for words after the Dallas Cowboys' 28-23 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. Prescott was spent physically and emotionally, as he normally is after the weekly referendums on how he played, what type of quarterback he is and what type of quarterback he can be. Dak is a freaking warrior, linebacker Micah Parsons said. There was multiple times I was like, that's Dak mother EFF Prescott. He's a dog. He a warrior. I have an unbelievable amount of confidence in him. I thought he had a great game. I think people need to put more respect on him. He outplayed everyone today. Prescott threw for a season-high 374 yards on 29 of 44 passing against the Eagles. He had 3 touchdown passes. He also ran 6 times for 14 yards and was sacked 5 times for a loss of 41 yards. It was the most passing yards he has had in a game since a 375-yard outing on Thanksgiving Day in 2021. He became the first Cowboys quarterback with 10 games of at least 350 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. It was the 8th time he has thrown more than 300 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, but the first time losing such a game. In the 3 games since his and the Cowboys' lowest point of the season, a 42-10 loss to the San Francisco 49ers in Week 5, Prescott has completed 75 of 105 passes for 950 yards with 8 touchdowns and 1 interception. He has run 17 times for 73 yards and 1 touchdown. He has also been sacked 13 times. I feel good, but at the end of the day I judge myself on wins, and as I've told you, I'm my biggest critic, he said Sunday. I can promise you there's 2-3 plays off the top of my head I'll lose sleep over. But that's why I'll continue to work and will get better because of them. One play is the failed 2-point conversion attempt after the Cowboys cut the gap to 28-23 when his foot touched out of bounds before he reached for the pylon while running away from 2 Eagles defenders. I'm just mad at myself for not diving or tagging the pylon, he said. I had it. Instead of needing a game-tying field goal, the Cowboys needed a touchdown on their final 2 drives. The first one stalled at the Philadelphia 29 when Prescott's 4th down pass to receiver Jalen Tolbert was high. The second one started at the Dallas 14 with 46 seconds left. Within 19 seconds, the Cowboys were at the Philadelphia 6, thanks to a pass interference penalty, a 10-yard catch by tight end Jake Ferguson, another Eagles penalty, a 14-yard gain by receiver CeeDee Lamb and a 3rd Eagles penalty. But it would get no closer. Prescott's final pass to Lamb went for 23 yards when the Cowboys needed 27 for the winning touchdown. Still, Prescott's effort had his teammates gushing. He's running, he's taking huge hits. Obviously, you don't want your quarterback taking hits, but when you see that and feel that and he gets back in the huddle and he's right back to it, that's contagious, Ferguson said. That makes you want to do that much more. For the Cowboys to win big, Prescott will need to continue to play the way he has played the past 3 games. The biggest change has come with his legs, and not just with running. It's scrambling free from pressure and finding his pass catchers downfield. In his past 3 games, Prescott has completed 14 of 17 passes with 2 touchdowns from outside the pocket, according to ESPN stats and information. In his first 5 games, he was 9 of 16 with no touchdowns outside the pocket. Against the Eagles, he was 4 of 4 for 75 yards and a touchdown to Jalen Tolbert. It's freedom, Prescott said. Cowboys RB needs to find his game. When the Cowboys placed the franchise tag on Tony Pollard this offseason and cut Ezekiel Elliott adrift, the message sent to Pollard was clear: you've got Zeke's job. Someone forgot to tell him they wanted 2016 Zeke or 2018 Zeke, not 2022 Zeke. What in the world has happened to Tony Pollard and the Dallas running game? At roughly the halfway mark of the season, 8 games played out of 17, the Cowboys rank 15th in rushing yards, and that's only because they insist on trying even when it isn't productive. In actual rush yards per play, Dallas is 21st. The explosive Pollard, who used to outperform Zeke the last 3 years while coming off the bench and ripping off big plays? He's nowhere to be found. and with the soft part of Dallas' schedule approaching Giants, Panthers, Commanders the next 3 weeks, now is the time to discover if the Pollard of old still exists, if the team needs more from Rico Dowdle, or if there simply isn't going to be a running complement to the passing game for the rest of 2023. It's not as if Coach Mike McCarthy isn't trying. My gosh, is he trying? You have all week to plot out your first few offensive plays against Philadelphia, number 1 in run defense, abysmal in pass defense, and this is what McCarthy came up with Sunday at the Link. Pollard into the line for 2 yards. Pollard into the line, but the handoff is from the shotgun this time, that will fool them, for 2 more. Pollard averaged 5.3, 4.3, 5.5 and 5.2 yards per carry in his first 4 seasons. Almost all of that came from off the bench, although he made 6 starts either while Elliott was hurt or, finally, belatedly, after winning the starting job for a spell last season. But he suffered a fractured fibula and sprained ankle in the San Francisco playoff game in January, and you have to ask whether, even though both have healed, he is the same runner he was before the injuries. Pollard averages 4.0 per carry this season. He ranks 16th in rushing yards, barely on pace for 1,000 yards even in the expanded 17-game season. Among the top 20 rushers, that 4.0 average ranks 17th in yards per carry. When he held a more limited role, mostly behind Zeke, he also ranked 16th in rushing in 2022 but with 5.2 yards per carry. Only Green Bay's Aaron Jones had a higher average among the running backs ahead of Pollard. The bursts have disappeared. The king of yards after contact has gone into exile. Pollard rushed for 122 yards in Week 3 at Arizona, a truly awful rush defense, but has not gone over 60 yards since then. Nor has he had a 20-yard carry in 58 attempts since then while averaging 3.6 per rush. Is it a diminished Pollard that is struggling, or is the Cowboys' overpraised offensive line to blame for much of the downfall? It's not like those cavernous holes are being opened in opponents' front sevens each week. Steelers pressed to sign former Vikings LB. Following the loss to inside linebacker Cole Holcomb, the Pittsburgh Steelers are being urged to sign a former Pro Bowler who can step in and provide a veteran presence in the back half of the season. The Steelers will move forward with Elandon Roberts and Quan Alexander as their starters, with Mark Robinson expected to become a part of the rotation. However, they currently have just 3 inside backers on the roster. To fix that issue, Bleacher Report believes the Steelers should sign former Minnesota Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr. The Steelers already needed help at linebacker going into the Thursday night game against the Titans, Bleacher Report writes. Then Cole Holcomb suffered a season-ending knee injury, and the need became even worse. The Steelers' chances of continuing to win rely on playing good defense, so finding a veteran who can fill in could be crucial. Anthony Barr is among the most qualified free agents to take that job. He started 10 games for the Cowboys last season and compiled 58 total tackles with 2 for a loss, a sack and 4 quarterback hits. Barr, 31, spent his first 8 NFL seasons with the Vikings, starting 98 games and earning 4 Pro Bowl selections. He then signed with the Dallas Cowboys last season, contributing 58 tackles and a sack. The Steelers could use another inside linebacker, and Barr might be a more reliable option over Robinson at this point. But with Alexander and Roberts on the roster, Pittsburgh may not be looking to add another veteran name they can plug into the starting role. Instead, they could simply be looking to add a depth piece. Make sure you bookmark All Steelers for the latest news, exclusive interviews, film breakdowns, and so much more. The Dallas Cowboys are interested in hiring Anthony Barr. And you fan, what do you think of the Anthony Barr situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.